Hi, I'm Greg Cummings, CEO of Power100 and your host of PowerChat. We're very excited today. We got Tom, one of our elite members of the advisory board, joining us today. Tom, first of all, thank you for helping me and Power100 so far. Really appreciate your advice and your support, throughout the year and a half or whatever it's been. And welcome to the PowerChat.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm excited to be here, Greg.
Good deal. I know you're busy. You got a lot of good stuff coming. You got at Renaissance meeting, and there's going to be some new windows and stuff. I want to get to that, but first I want to get to know like everything. Power100's mission is about finding the best leaders. Great companies have great leaders, and that's our mission of not necessarily exposing it, but digging into who the man, the woman is behind, the quote unquote leader. So with all that said, I want to know, Tom, actually, before we get to that, why don't you introduce yourself and a little bit of a background I'm assuming everybody knows you. So why don't you introduce yourself and a little background on how you got where you are?
It's funny. I've been in the industry since the early 90s, and I started my career at it. As you and I have discussed a couple of times, I had a choice either to go into broadcasting or come into this crazy building product / window world. And the opportunity was a little bit better monetarily, especially with the new family at that time. In broadcasting, you really don't make any money until you get to a large market. But I have no regrets. This has been an incredible ride. I started out here in Jacksonville, Florida, in a management training program through a distributor that's very well known throughout the United States called Cameron Ashley. Worked my way through all facets of that operation. Had an opportunity come up with a window company out of Indiana, Pennsylvania called Gorell Windows and Doors, and spent almost 14 years with them. Subsequently, after Gorell, I went to work with Softlight, and been with Softlight a couple of times. But throughout that time period, I had the opportunity to work internationally with a company named Harrow Wall, and this opportunity came up about 2 years ago here in Jacksonville, Florida, to come home and start putting together a privately held company and grow up throughout the Southeast. Much of my career has been based here in the Southeast. I've had a lot of national and international exposure, but a lot of my experience has been, as you well know, Greg, the Florida experience.
Yeah. There's no experience like it in the window and door space. I mean, it's so governed and so buttoned up with impact codes and all that fun stuff. So we can leave that to another thrilling conversation. But I'm curious. So you're the VP of Sales right now. Is that your
That's
role?
correct. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing at Renaissance Windows and Doors here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, amazing company, and they're lucky to have you on board, at the ship here, at the helm, steering this thing. Excited to see where you take that ship this year and into next year, because I know you've been working your tail off on some fun stuff. But before we get into that, I want to know kind of our signature question. What's the earliest lesson that you learned that you still carry with you to this day?
It goes back to one of my first mentors within this industry, a gentleman by the name of Mitch Shepard with Cameron Ashley Building Products. He's well known within the Southeast, but Mitch said to me, there's a triangle. He used to work out at the YMCA's and it basically shows mind, body, and spirit. And I follow that today. I truly believe in that process of bringing that forward as an individual and encapsulating what you need to do to grow yourself intellectually. You've heard that through some of the other people that have been on here also. With your body, before I got on here, right during lunch, I go and get a run in, usually during the week, especially when I have something that I'm going to be on or that I'm going to be presenting. I want to be able to get all that excess energy out of me, but it's also good to clear my mind. And the last part is the spirit and that's more I'm not going to give the religious side. It's more the value side and giving back. As a veteran, it's important to me to give back to organizations that support people, that help support our country and serve our country at the highest levels, in my opinion. So that's really what I continue with, have used and continue to use and teach and coached throughout. I mean, it's a very uh, large or globalistic thought process, but it's something that I think is important to always maintain throughout whatever I'm doing.
Well, you hit the nail on the head because most of the people listening to this are going to be CEOs of, in the home remodeling space. And, our other advisory board member, Steve McNary, he literally let it take him to a major health issue of a brain aneurysm, right? Like, and when you don't focus on yourself and making sure that you're right, mind, body, and spirit, energy, whatever you want to call it, you're not able to perform the best for your team. And you can't think straight when you're under emotion, right? You got to be emotionally sound to be able to think straight and clear and be able to lead the team. That's why in the Army, the generals eat first. It's not because they're the highest rank. It's because their decisions impact the lives of everybody else that are there and not there. So it's a very simple concept, but I would say it's one of the most overlooked concepts because let's face it, it takes a little bit of effort. How many people actually, get up and go work out, go on a run? Everybody wants to, but they're like, yeah, push it off till tomorrow. So I appreciate you shedding some light on the importance of that. And, being an example.
We were having that discussion yesterday, and I'm really, it's always great to speak to you because it's more a conversation, which I appreciate as a part of this. And I know we're going to talk about what's important in some of the meetings we go to, and those are the conversations that we have. But I was relaying that story about Dave Yoho yesterday. As a young buck in this industry, going to a remodeling show in Baltimore, going and working out early in the morning. Here's Dave meeting everybody there, and I think he was going through a boxing routine. But
yeah, it is funny. And that's what I was saying. First time I ever met Dave Yoho, he was in a full 1970s jumpsuit, like head to toe with like some white sneakers. I was like, who is this crazy guy running around? Everybody's shaking his hand, saying hi. And, I shamefully wasn't totally familiar with who he was, but it was so out of, the perception of what I thought I would see. And, I'm not expecting him. I expected him to be in his suit to the nines, but here he is moving and shaking. Come to find out every single morning he's at the gym, 5 a.m. or whatever crazy time it is. And he's doing his thing and still cognitively in it, physically in it, at 95 or whatever he is. I mean, it's really remarkable just going and seeing him and his energy and his passion and his focus for his craft inspires me. And I know it inspires other people just for seeing that, right? And being around it.